World Trade Center crash, the tragic events of 9/11, the full story. The September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks, often referred to as 9/11s, remain one of the most devastating tragedies in modern history. It was a day of unprecedented violence, destruction, and heroism that reshaped the world's political and cultural landscape. For younger generations, learning about this day is critical, as it holds valuable lessons about resilience, unity, and the consequences of global conflict. This account aims to help students better understand the events, their causes, and the far-reaching impacts, providing vital historical context on one of the darkest days in modern human history. The 9/11 attacks were carried out by 19 terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda, a militant extremist group led by Osama bin Laden. Their goal was to strike at the heart of American power by choosing symbolic targets: the World Trade Center, representing economic strength, the Pentagon, symbolizing military might, and likely the Capitol or White House, political icons of U.S. governance. Al-Qaeda had identified the U.S. as an enemy due to its policies in the Middle East, particularly its support for certain regimes and military presence in the region. These tensions fueled the group's violent ideology. This tragedy also reflected the broader consequences of unchecked extremist movements, emphasizing why understanding and countering such ideologies is crucial. The attacks were meticulously planned for years. Through this horrifying event, students can recognize the importance of international cooperation and the devastating consequences of harboring hatred and misunderstanding between nations. Importantly, 9/11 shows why diplomacy and awareness of global issues matter in creating a safer, more connected world. The morning of September 11th began like any other, with passengers boarding flights unaware of the tragedy about to unfold. 4 commercial airplanes departing from major U.S. airports were hijacked almost simultaneously. American Airlines Flight 11 departed from Boston's Logan Airport at 7:59 a.m. en route to Los Angeles. At 8:14 a.m., it was hijacked by 5 terrorists, redirecting its course toward Manhattan. United Airlines Flight 175 left Logan Airport at 8:14 a.m. bound for Los Angeles and was soon taken over by another 5 hijackers. American Airlines Flight 77 departed from Dulles International Airport at 8:20 a.m. and was hijacked about half an hour later. United Airlines Flight 93 departed from Newark International Airport at 8:42 a.m., heading toward San Francisco, before being taken over by 4 hijackers at 9:28 a.m. Understanding these timelines is essential for students, as it showcases the precision and coordination involved in carrying out such tragic events, highlighting the need for robust aviation security measures, many of which were implemented post-9/11. The devastating attack began at 8:46 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The plane struck floors 93 to 99, killing hundreds instantly and trapping many more above the impact zone. Thick smoke and raging fire created a harrowing scene, emphasizing the massive loss of life that would follow. Moments later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower, hitting floors 77 to 85. The world was glued to television screens as the horrifying realization sank in. This was no accident. It was a deliberate act of terror. Students can reflect on how, even in seemingly normal moments, unexpected events can shift history forever, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and unity. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 smashed into the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. This was more than symbolic. It was an assault on national defense itself, killing 64 people on board and 125 military and civilian personnel at the site. Among the darkest moments of the day, an incredible story of courage and self-sacrifice emerged. United Airlines Flight 93 was headed for an unknown target, likely Washington, D.C. However, the passengers, learning of the other attacks, fought back against the hijackers. The plane crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m., killing everyone on board but preventing a catastrophic attack on the Capitol or the White House. This act of bravery demonstrates the extraordinary human capacity for courage and solidarity, even in the gravest circumstances. The unthinkable continued as the attack on New York City escalated. South Tower collapse, 9:59 a.m. After burning for only 56 minutes, the South Tower crumbled in a massive cloud of dust and debris, symbolizing irreversible destruction and profound anguish. North Tower collapse, 10:28 a.m. The North Tower followed, collapsing after a 102-minute blaze. The world bore witness to the enormous scale of human and infrastructure loss, with both towers reduced to rubble in under 2 hours. These collapses reshaped the iconic New York skyline, leaving a haunting void that reminded people of the fragility of life and the enduring need to protect innocent lives from harm. This tragedy left staggering human and material losses. Deaths. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost, including passengers, office workers, and heroic first responders. Over 400 firefighters and police officers perished while trying to rescue survivors. Injuries. Thousands were injured, many of whom endured long-term health issues due to exposure to toxic fumes, smog, and collapsing debris. Destruction. The Twin Towers, as symbols of global finance, were destroyed along with other nearby structures. Billions of dollars were lost, and the psychological impact extended globally. For students analyzing these numbers, they must remember these are not just statistics, but individuals, mothers, fathers, children, whose stories remind us to cherish every moment and work toward a peaceful, inclusive future. Rescue operations began immediately, with firefighters, paramedics, and police working tirelessly to save lives. While hundreds were pulled from the rubble, hope faded over time. In the months that followed, the United States mourned collectively, demonstrating resilience through public memorial services and acts of kindness. In response to 9/11, the U.S., under President George W. Bush, launched the War on Terror, which began with military action against al-Qaeda strongholds in Afghanistan. This campaign expanded to include the controversial Iraq War in 2003. While these actions aimed to dismantle terrorist networks, they also led to significant international debate about the consequences of prolonged military interventions. Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11, evaded capture for years. On May 2, 2011, U.S. Special Forces located and killed him in Pakistan, marking an emotional milestone in the fight against terrorism. The attacks not only caused irreparable personal loss, but deeply affected global economies, shaking financial markets and leading to the creation of new security protocols, such as the TSA, Transportation Security Administration, and the Department of Homeland Security in the U.S. Enhanced Security in airports and other public spaces remains an enduring legacy of 9/11. Built at Ground Zero in New York City, the memorial includes 2 reflecting pools set in the footprints of the Twin Towers. These pools bear the engraved names of the victims, ensuring future generations remember their lives and stories. A visit to this site provides students the opportunity to reflect on history firsthand. The One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower, stands over 1,700 feet tall on the same site, symbolizing resilience, hope, and the enduring ability of communities to rebuild and rise stronger. The 9/11 attacks fundamentally reshaped global security policies. Nations worldwide joined efforts to counter terrorism, creating international frameworks and alliances. However, the incident also sparked debates about personal freedoms versus security, teaching students about the complexity of decision-making in global leadership. The events of September 11, 2001 transcended national borders and became a global tragedy. For students today, 9/11 serves as more than a historical event. It stands as a powerful lesson about unity, compassion, and the importance of striving for peace. While the violent acts of that day left devastation, they also brought stories of heroism, sacrifice, and an enduring human spirit. As we reflect on this day, it becomes clear that understanding history is vital for shaping a better future. The story of 9/11 reminds us of the fragility of peace, the costs of conflict, and the resilience of humanity in the face of extraordinary challenges.